Well, g'day everyone, and welcome back to the Perkins Engineering YouTube channel. Looking forward to this episode. Behind me here, I've got all the bodywork off Perkins Engineering Chassis 13 when it came to our place for restoration. So I'm just going to run through that in a moment. But first of all, the Perkins Engineering t-shirt should be back in stock, perkinsengineering.com.au. Few hoodies still left there, so jump online and you should be able to grab that. And there's also plenty of other stuff going online all the time, so check it out, perkinsengineering.com.au. So let's get stuck into this episode because it's a beauty. As you all know, for those that have been following our restoration videos on Perkins Engineering Chassis 13, they'll know it turned up looking the part. The VN bodywork behind me, mobile stickers, 05, all looks, fantastic. Unfortunately, when you delve a little deeper, it's not sort of correct for the period. So what I will do is show you all the stuff here, but it all comes back to us having access to the Perkins Engineering drawings. It would be impossible to restore a car without access to a lot of these drawings. So to give you an idea, this is Perkins Engineering drawing 503. It was dated 22nd of February 1991, and it's the front bumper bar iron. So it's a factory Rio. It gets lightweight modifications, spots for dowels, everything that we did to that part to make it race ready. And why that's so important is because then the bodywork fits to it. So, without that drawing, we wouldn't really know what to do in terms of front bar mounting. Drawing number 519. This is the mount for the nose cone, it's now referred to. So it's a folded up aluminium bracket that goes on the side of the front bumper bar and mounts to the factory guard mounts on the side of the car that then bolt on to the body shell. So again, without all of that, you can't kind of mount the front bar right. And then the last front bar drawing, number 691, is the side VN mounts. And I love a lot of our drawings. They're on original letterhead. So that's a mobile letterhead, hand drawing here to show you on the front bumper bar where you needed to drill the side holes in that to mount it to those mounts that I spoke of. It's even got the Crane logo and another logo written there for your reference. The Crane Cams sticker that would have been on the side of it. So these drawings show me exactly where those front bars are supposed to be drilled. And without any of this stuff, you're guessing off photos. So such an important part. And what I'm going to do, grab the camera off and I'm going to walk around. We'll have a bit of a look at all the bodywork that came off the car and show you what we're doing to the bodywork that's going to go back on the car. So looking forward to this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, it really does look the goods. Mobile, 05, Brock, Medecky, everything. But I just want to go into a little bit of the detail to show you why some of it's not actually usable again, unfortunately, and some of the stuff that just wasn't quite right. So if we start with the front bumper bar, and from the outside it looks okay, but I knew from photos that there was never a dowel hole on the front of the VN bumper bars, and typically speaking, the Perkins mounts, the doweling was done, it was mounted to the inside of the bar, which you can see there's actually a provision for one here. It's got a little threaded stud and an aluminium dowel would go on there, and that would locate into the factory front Rio. But in this case, they've used like a bonnet pin, if you like, which, it all works, don't get me wrong, it just doesn't look right in photos. So that would then locate through this hole, and then it has an R-clip or a bit of lock wire or something on the other side. And that would, mount the sort of bar in the front central section. And then on the sides here, it's got some sort of bolts and nuts and bits and pieces sort of bonded in, which, is, again, it could work and everything, but it's just not how we did it. Like I showed you at the top, we've got a drawing that shows that there's two holes to get drilled here. Then there's a folded aluminium bracket that sits comfortably in between here and the factory mount. That mount gets bolted to the body shell, and all that bolts up nicely. So we will be doing that, and unfortunately that then makes this front bumper bar sort of unserviceable for us, which is a shame because it doesn't look like it's done a lot of work, but it is quite heavy for what it is. The VNs were known for being incredibly lightweight because they're kind of one layer fiberglass. But unfortunately, this will end up on our website for sale as we are getting a new one done. The front bumper bar Rio, we're not going to be able to reuse this one, unfortunately. We did find another VN one, but like I said, we've got a proper drawing that shows what needs to be done to this. It's had a lot of other holes drilled into it. It sort of looks like it's had a bit of a bend and a shunt here, so it's had a bit of RHS tech screwed in there for some reason. And I think whilst we could reuse it, we've got to do a lot of light weighting to the original one as per our drawings. So we'll just start with a new one we got off the donor car, and off we go. The front bar grill, or the front grill as it's known, this looks okay. It's had a spike, the air jack mount, mounted to the front of it, which is where it's supposed to go in 91, but it was just done for looks. It had a nut on the back that's only just hanging in there, looking by how many threads, and it wasn't going to an air jack line or anything. So we're gonna get another one of those made. Again, it's very thick and heavy for what it is, with sort of aluminium brackets and bits and pieces just sort of made to fit on the car. So we're gonna get another one of those. So if anyone's looking for this one, I dare say it'll be available on our website pretty soon. Moving back through the car, we touched on the front guards in the strip down, and they are a VN front guard. They've got a very similar cutout for the air jack to our cars, but unfortunately they've just been trimmed under here to gain clearance, and that's unfortunately that's not right. This folded section should be there the whole way through, matching the factory profile. They don't get flared, they get a little bit of pulling and pushing and whatever else, but they've been sort of bastardized, unfortunately, and I would love to have used those guards, but unfortunately they're not right. You can see here that detail just looks unbelievably bad, and we've got a proper cardboard cut-in template for that air jack provision there as well. So while we're looking at that section, over to the side skirts. Now the skirts, again, they looked in great condition, obviously a bit of wear and tear, but the race car skirts didn't have the front spat on them, and that's sort of a bit of an aftermarket roadie bit. So unfortunately that section there is supposed to be separate from the skirts, which we know from our documentation and also even just looking at photos, and that gets mounted to the guard kind of separately, and those parts are all separate, much like the rear door spat which sits up there. So unfortunately we're working to get some new side skirts done to be able to then put the spats on separately as it was in 1991. So again, there'll probably be a set of these side skirts available on our website pretty soon. Over to the bonnet. This was a part that I was really hopeful we could reuse because it looks good. It looks right. It's had the bonnet scoop fitted, and I'm not generating work for fun. I'm only doing things that need to be done to make it right. But when I started to really look at it and notice things like the sign writing and the car number and everything, I've come to the conclusion that the bonnet scoop has been mounted too far down. So I'll try and get some photos to talk about it, but I believe this is too far down the bonnet. I could be wrong, but if you have a look at some of the photos of the car running around, to me, and in relation to the windscreen washers, that scoop needs to be further back. So we could definitely reuse the bonnet. But what's a bit scary with bonnets is when they've got mounting holes drilled in them, it's a bit hard to reverse them. So if that scoop moves this way, then some of those holes could be exposed, and we don't really want that, and it's pretty dirty and untidy under here, and we want to make sure this cutout, which was originally only done for the twin throttle engine, we want to make sure that's in the right spot. So I'm hoping I might be able to reuse the bonnet, but it's not looking good, and sort of where the bonnet pins have been cut out. Again, it's all going to work, but it's not really up to our standard. You know, if you run your finger over that, not only will it cut you, but you'll be bleeding. So unfortunately, it's just not finished off the way we would. But like I said, it would work. And if it was the last bonnet in the world, we'd make it work. But I think we'll try and get a new one, and we are getting a new bonnet scoop made as well. So onto the doors, and it's probably worth touching on because a lot of people question the originality of everything. You know, could these be the original doors? Could that be the original bonnet? I mean, the reality of the situation is that this car probably had 10 bonnets on it in its lifetime, if not more. They were a consumable item. They didn't stay on the cars. They might have got repaired once or twice, but to replace them was a lot easier than repair them. And the same goes with the door. We know the doors. We know that this car from our previous videos had a bit of damage to the left-hand side sill. So I dare say it would have absolutely destroyed the doors. And look, whilst again, the mobile stickers look great, the Brockman deckies and everything, it all, look, the sign writing's great, but unfortunately the doors aren't original. So how I can tell is by lifting it up, taking the door cards off, and you can see inside here. So an original motorsport door wouldn't have had that intrusion bar in it, but equally it's had a big section cut out here for reasons unknown, and you know, it's sort of not finished the way we would have left it. It looks like it was originally white, which is a good start to think that it could have been original, but I dare say I don't think this one is an original one. And if you look over on the left rear, it's got intrusion bars in there as well, but like I said, it's painted white under there, so it could have been an original door, but I find it very hard to accept that it was. So those are the two left-hand side doors. We're going to have a look on the other side of the right-hand ones, because the driver's door was definitely a door that I was going to change anyway. And hey presto, it wouldn't have been that reddy colour underneath when Perkins Engineering had it, because we wouldn't have got doors from Holden in that colour. And you can see the intrusion bars in there. And this door was probably one that I was always going to change, because it's been modified for a window net. It's got welded lugs in it, and it's had a few mods and bits and pieces. So that was always going to be a door that I would have changed. And then inside the right rear door, let's try again and lift that up. And yeah, blue inside. So intrusion bars in there. So for those that think the doors are original, I'm gonna put a few bucks on it and say the doors aren't original. Okay, so the last two pieces of bodywork, the rear bumper bar and the boot lip, if you like. The rear bumper bar, look, again, it's a bit like the front bumper bar. It's okay, but I don't think it's how Perkins Engineering would have done it. It's had a few oddball mounting holes on it. It's a bit untidy. It's got really unusual sort of long studs and bolts glued on and all sorts of stuff, which doesn't match the way we would have mounted it from photos and just the experience. The two mounts here, whilst they don't look right, they actually aren't far off, but they'd be normally reinforced a little bit, but they pick up off the factory mounts. So yeah, we will be getting a new rear bar made and just tidying that off, trying to make it as race worthy as it was. So there'll be a rear bar for sale. And then the boot lid, again, look, I'm holding hope that I can reuse lots of items. The boot lid is actually in pretty good nick, and it appears as though the lip and bits and pieces have come out of a semi-original mould. But the rear garnish here, if you like, it looks wrong. I think it's potentially total Lexan. And this is always a bit of a contentious topic with the Perkins cars, because people don't realise that you know, we didn't have to run a particular garnish, and quite often the mechanics would modify something, and we went through this with the VPs and we'll no doubt go through it again. But I believe the garnish is actually something like this one that I've prepared earlier, except what happens is these sections get bogged over, flattened over to make a nice flat panel. These road car provisions get removed. You can see in some photos that these 4 fixings get reused, which is what the VPs did. And then that becomes a nice flat panel and it becomes sponsor friendly for a sticker. So that garnish will come off this boot lid. But we think that the scoop should live to fight another day, which is going to be cool. And if you look underneath, other than the boot stay that someone's made for it, yeah, I'm hoping the boot can live to fight another day. It's definitely not the original boot. Like I said, this was a VRVS Commodore, and the boot lid would have been mounted for a center wing. So please don't think that if we replace the boot lid, we're getting rid of all the original parts, because that's not the case. But yeah, that's kind of where we're up to. We've got some bodywork getting made now, and looking forward to, once the fabrication work's done on the car, we'll be able to fit off all the new bodywork, and it'll be very close to getting painted. So very exciting times. Thanks for joining in, and we look forward to bringing you another episode very soon. Cheers.